Welcome to NPC, Next Portable Console, a show about the games we take with us. I'm John Voorhees, and I've got my two co-hosts with me. I've got Brendon Bigley. Hey, Brendon.
Hello, everybody, and also you two.
Yes, hello. Federico Vitici's here, too. Hey, Tici.
Hey, guys. Hello. How are you?
Oh, I like looking at you with your brand new white microphone arm. It's it's a good vibe for you, I think.
Very hard to find on Amazon.com or Amazon Italy, I guess. That's we really wanted to get a white arm for my desk because there's also the PS5 now, which is white, and I have my office camera, which is also white. So all the accessories are white, and I kind of wanted to match them, and so it was very tricky to find. But yeah, this is a kind of a different vibe for me doing the show. Just chilling in my chair with my mic arm in front of me. So I don't need to hunch over a microphone stand. It's kind of nice.
Nice,
Sure it
very
is.
nice.
Yeah, I feel like I'm about to incept you, but I'm surprised you haven't swapped out your PS5 faceplates.
The thing is,
I'm sorry I said that out loud, but they have cool options. I swapped mine to black as soon as I possibly could.
We have a show to do here, Brendon. He's going to start shopping on Amazon.
No. I actually like the default look of the PS5, the black and white. And I think the white with the color of the desk that I have now, I think the white is particularly well matched. The only other color, which now that you mention it, I'm going to go look for it. I don't know if it exists, but if there's anything similar to what Apple, for example, calls the Starlight color for the MacBook, sort of champagne kind of color.
Yes.
That one would be perfect for the PS5.
That would be amazing. I don't think they do have that, but if they had that, I would also get that.
Yeah, something like that would be even better, but right now the white will do. What I have, this is obviously kind of related to video games. What I have misplaced, it seems, is the little plastic feet that come with the PS5 that sort of hold it when you place it horizontally.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I misplaced them. I don't know where they are. So I guess I gotta buy the little acrylic, plastic little feet for the PS5 on Amazon. I'm sure there'll be knockoffs somewhere.
Yeah, or you can get the vertical stand, which is hard to find PS5 Pro.
I don't have enough because it's sitting under the desk. There's a drawer under the desk, and there's a little vertical space. I'm not sure there's enough room for the PS5 to sit vertically. So it's
it's a big boy.
It's resting on its
not
side.
portable.
It's not portable.
No.
Not portable console.
Well, a couple of days ago on Instagram, I received an advertisement for
a backpack for your PS5.
No,
right?
kinda. It was. So there's this company. I forget the name, but there's this company that make monitors for your consoles. So they have a product that turns your PS5 into quote unquote portable PS5, wherein you attach a monitor to the back. You remove the faceplate on the top, you get this monitor, you attach it in the back, and you close it on top of the PS5. And so you get this giant PS5 clamshell that technically you can take with you and play on the go. Sure, you got to put a PS5 on your lap. Who hasn't done it before, right? You
Constantly.
They showed somebody doing it in the advertisement. They also make an equivalent product for the Xbox Series S. So
I was going to say, I've seen those too.
Yeah.
That would be cool. I would love that.
Right?
Yeah.
That was looking nice. So you can make your PS5 portable, but you shouldn't. Don't do it.
But at what cost? Literally, financially, and then also in terms of embarrassment levels when you're at the airport playing your PS5 waiting to get on a plane.
Pull out your PS5.
I think you might burn yourself putting that PS5 in your lap too.
It's hot. The thing gets hot, and it's got the ventilation is important on this console. So
you can use it.
But if you're ripping off a faceplate and just opening one half of it entirely,
sure,
maybe the ventilation improves.
Maybe.
Do
you want to try
it,
Brendon? Do you want to try it for science?
To whoever's at that company, if you are watching and or listening, hit me up.
Yeah, send Brendon the.
I'm going on a big trip. I'll bring my PS5.
Give this guy a portable PS5, please. He needs it. So anyway, we have a bunch of news to cover, And
we do
so much.
John, you created this little segment for us all about emulation and retro hardware. So I guess the big news of the week is the arrival of Cemu, the Wii U emulator on Android. Has anybody played with it?
Yes.
Okay.
I have.
Okay.
How is it? I've heard it's a little rough still.
It can be rough. It really depends on what games you're playing.
Okay.
I have had pretty okay results with some and pretty terrible results with others. I will say my Wii U library, the amount of stuff I backed up before I got rid of my Wii U, is very slim. I have 3 games total. And they run the gamut from like, wow, I can't believe how well this works on the Odin 2 Mini to this is abysmal and pretty rough. But also, it's like,
can I try and guess
publicly?
Can I try and guess your Wii U library?
Sure, yeah. You're going to get 2 of them. You're not going to get 1 of them. I promise you.
So it's going to be Wind Waker HD.
Yes.
The Wonderful 101?
No. I thought you had it. Okay.
No, I have no idea. Okay, I'm stopping.
Wind Waker.
Okay.
Twilight Princess.
Okay.
HD also.
Okay.
And Tokyo Mirage Sessions.
Ah, damn it. Okay. Yeah.
Which is the one that I don't think anyone would get, but was like in my opinion, like if you wanted like a great JRPG on the Wii U, that was like your option for the most part.
Yeah.
But now it's on Switch. If you haven't played that game, you should play that game. If you're a fan of Persona and you haven't played Tokyo Mirage Sessions, you should do that.
Okay. So anyway, you have a slim Wii U library.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. I didn't have much to test with, but
which is the game that doesn't play well?
Tokyo Mirage Sessions.
Okay.
Has some issues. At least in my testing. And again, this is like a really early build. This is the beginning of this working at all.
Yeah, it's a beta that you have to download from GitHub, I understand.
Yeah,
right?
So it's not like
it's not on the Play
not
Store.
publicly listed on the Play Store or anything. Yeah, exactly. So you have to give it a lot of grace. The fact that any of it works at all is honestly pretty shocking. Because my last experience with Wii U emulation was on the Steam Deck, and even that was a little bit hit or miss. I will say, personally, at least, I am having a better time using it on the Odin 2 Mini than I did on the Steam Deck. And I don't know what that is. That might literally just be like an Android versus Linux thing. But so far, I think it's really promising. I hope that they are able to continue working on it, considering everything that's surrounding Wii U launching on Android. I think shout out to Russ at Retro Game Core who got rocked by Nintendo. Sorry, I'm so sorry that happened. It's like brutal. I'm hopeful that we get to see this updated in the future. But for now, I'm pretty stoked about it. Yeah,
that's great. Yeah, I mean, in a way, given all the Wii U ports that we've seen on Nintendo Switch, in a way, this is the only Switch emulator left when you think about it. It's the Wii U one.
That's deep.
No, that's...
Should we skip ahead, maybe?
I mean, while we're on the topic, why not? The last standing emulator, Ryujinx, was shut down. This was it was basically, until a few months ago, there were 2 Nintendo Switch emulators. So there was Yuzu, and there was Ryujinx. Now, it's as we know, Yuzu was forced to shut down from Nintendo. Nintendo sued the team behind Yuzu, and it quickly disappeared. There were a bunch of forks of the Yuzu emulator that surfaced in the immediate demise of Yuzu. There was Suyu, there was a Sudachi, there was a bunch of forks.
I think Suyu might still be around.
I don't think it is. I don't think it is. I think all of them disappeared, even Sudachi eventually. The other emulator, which was based on a different code base, entirely written, I want to say, in C#, different engine, different architecture from Yuzu, was Ryujinx. And so what's interesting here is that it doesn't seem like Nintendo sued the Ryujinx developers. They contacted the lead developer of the emulator, and they basically cut the person a deal. So the person could stop working on Ryujinx and pulled all of the downloads from the website. The documentation was removed. The GitHub repo was shut down, and the extended emulator team posted the details on Discord as things were happening behind the scenes. So it seems like rather than a lawsuit, it's more like Nintendo getting in touch with the lead developer and creator of the emulator and being like, hey, why don't you stop working on it? And I mean, we don't know if any monetary exchange was involved. Personally, that's, what I tend to believe, but it's all my personal speculation. In any case, big picture, this means that Nintendo Switch emulation is pretty much dead. Like it's done.
Yeah.
It's sure, if you have an old version of Yuzu still installed on your PC or a version of Ryujinx still saved, it's gonna keep working realistically, barring any future games obviously that break compatibility with the emulator. But in terms of, do you want to go out on the web and download an emulator today for your Nintendo Switch? You cannot do it because they have all been removed.
Yeah, it's a shame, and it's interesting that the team behind this had a working iOS version in development that ported it over to iOS that apparently, according to some of the social media posts, was using some interesting coding techniques to get around the fact that they couldn't use JIT. And I think that they had an Android port in the
and
works
even an
as well.
iOS version, iOS and Android, without JIT, which was like an incredibly skilled development team. I mean, even the fact that Ryujinx wasn't technically using the same approach as Yuzu, I believe, in terms of like loading the system files and all that kind of stuff. But obviously, Nintendo. I mean, on one hand, I gotta imagine that there has to be a deeper story here. That is not just Nintendo wanting to shut down Nintendo Switch emulators. Because, I mean, why now, right? Why after 7 years of Nintendo Switch emulators that have existed in some shape or form for the past 2 years, really, year and a half, why now, right? Going after them at the end of a Switch life cycle. So part of me has to wonder if the Switch 2 will really be backwards compatible with the Switch 1, and if that will be a big selling point of saying, well, you can take your Switch 1 games and upscale them to 4K thanks to the magic that we do. But when you have an emulator that also lets you do that for free without having to buy a new console, I gotta believe that maybe had Nintendo spooked. And so
I think another aspect of it is probably the DMA and the fact that emulators have come to the iPhone, because that's just an enormous market. And if Ryujinx was getting close to something that was workable on iOS, that had to scare Nintendo a lot, I would think.
Yeah. I also am curious about the Retro Game Core getting rocked for showing Cemu specifically, because it makes me wonder if we're going to start seeing like direct ports of Wii U games or something similar to a Nintendo Online, but for the Wii U, which would be like completely wild. But also, going back to last week, or not last week, 2 weeks ago's episode, talking about the possibility of those Switch 2 leaks. Some of them say that there will be some kind of casting, so you'll have, the Switch in your hand and the dock will also act as a way to cast. Hypothetically, maybe even having 2 different displays going at the same time, allowing for easier Wii U emulation, which would be wild.
We're going back.
I feel like
you could end up with 3DS and 2DS games working that way too. I think. I mean, it could be very interesting.
That's what I think is more likely, but going after Wii U emulation on YouTube, I think is very interesting. I do think all of this bubbles up to an announcement of some sort. I think all of this bubbles up to like Nintendo is gearing up for their announcement in some way, shape, or form.
They're clearing the decks
and I think,
with their lawyers before the announcement.
I think it's going to become much clearer by the end of the year why all of this is happening now.
Yeah. So it turns out it's called Switch 2 because you can use 2 screens. That's, we're going back to that idea, baby. We're doing
It's all about the 2.
It's all about the 2.
We're going back. I love it.
I do think, though, at the end of the day, it's fun. I completely forgot what I was going to say. Sorry.
It's all right.
No worries.
It's all right.
No worries.
There was this mystery Nintendo device that I wanted to talk about before going back to the other retro news that we have this week. John, what's the deal with this thing? What is it? What does it look like?
This is a device that appeared in the FCC regulatory approval process. And when a company does that, they don't have to say much about what it is or really show it off at all. But there are a few clues. There are, I guess that there is a 24 gigahertz millimeter wave sensor, as well as a 2.5 gigahertz Wi-Fi radio. And it's a squarish device. And that's about all we know about this thing. It could be, what could it be? It's not, I guess it's not powered either, and there's no Bluetooth, which are other details. What could it be? It could be something that plugs into a USB-C port and is powered using the battery on the Switch itself, like a camera. Or maybe it's a microphone. I mean, who knows what it could be? It would have to be something that doesn't require a lot of power, because obviously you've got a small battery in a Switch. But I think, this is maybe a sign of something coming in terms of an accessory for the Switch 2.
Can I speculate wildly?
Yes.
I know what you're going to say. Say it. Yes. Do it.
Do you? Okay.
Do it.
Wii and the Wiimote? Is that what you think? Yes. I'm thinking thinking of things from the past that don't require a lot of power or almost any power at all. The Wii sensor bar was the thing you plugged into the back of the Wii.
That's what I was
needed so little
that's
power
what I was thinking.
to run. And I'm wondering if Nintendo has maybe found a way to even shrink it down to not needing to be full sensor bar size, but would allow you to use the new Joy-Cons, which I'm sure are going to come with a bunch of new features within them, to emulate the Wii and the Wiimote even better than before. I could see that being the situation here. It'd be very funny to need to string something up to the top of my TV again for the first time in years. But that was my first thought when I read this. Was this is going to enable easier Wii emulation, which again, going back to earlier, Nintendo Switch Online subscription expansion pack adds the Nintendo Wii. That'd be pretty wild. Who knows?
Can you imagine
Definitely.
Can you imagine if they go after Dolphin next?
I could see it. I'm surprised they haven't in a lot of ways.
I mean,
they did have that.
It's been around
that reminds me of what I was going to say.
Okay.
The thing that is okay about all these Switch emulators shutting down is a lot of them, I think Yuzu specifically, allows you to swap out graphics drivers as well. So even if you still have Yuzu installed, if a new turnip driver, for example, comes out that supports Snapdragon graphics card or Snapdragon processors, you can still continue upgrading it. And I believe the same is true of Dolphin. I think Dolphin also allows you to swap that stuff out. So in a world in which all of this stuff gets wiped out, it'd be really upsetting for Dolphin because they've been at it for
20 years.
How long has it been?
20 years.
20 years.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable
Yeah.
how long they've been at it for. That is the little solace that we can take away, is there's still a world in which you could continue updating it. But man, that would be such a huge bummer to get Dolphin removed.
Yeah, it really would be.
That would be awful, honestly, especially for GameCube. Yeah, because there's no alternative, right? Literally there is no alternative to GameCube emulation or Wii emulation for that matter at the moment. Well, we still have no news from Nintendo, so we're still speculating here. But we have a bunch of other retro stuff that we want to cover. John, what is the N64 Operator?
Yes, I am the resident expert, I think. On
I think
Epilogue.
I think you are. A very niche market. Very niche market for you. But
it is.
Yeah.
I just keep running across these posts on Reddit, and to remind everybody, we all own the GB Operator, which is the Epilogue device that lets you plug in a Game Boy Color, or Game Boy Advance cartridge into this little toaster-like device that you can connect to your Mac or your PC and play your games directly from the cartridges and save your saves and all that kind of stuff. Well, for years now, literally years, they've been talking about doing one for the Super Nintendo. And that, I think, from everything I've read and we talked about a few episodes ago, is getting very, very close. I wouldn't be surprised if we hear an announcement about that the next couple of months. But there was an update to the software that runs the Game Boy Operator, and there was a reference in it that someone found to the N64. So now the speculation is that the SNES operator is going to be coming out any day now, and that the N64 operator is going to be hot on its heels. Now, hot on its heels, who knows? The company, Epilogue was saying, I think, as the GB operator was released, and this was at least a few years ago, I want to say, that the SNES one was coming soon. And it has taken a very long time. I don't know why, but it has taken a while. And it seems like that's imminent. So it may be a while yet for the N64, but I'd love to have, these for all of these older systems.
Yeah. You guys both have something very similar to the Epilogue, but that also already allows you to use Super Nintendo games?
The open source cartridge reader. It's something that you can get from a custom build to order service based in Japan. They're called Save the Hero. It's the name of the company, and it's based on this open source spec that you can actually find on GitHub and print for yourself if you want to. Cool. You can do it. It's this board that has connectors for basically everything up to the N64. Obviously, the difference between that and the Epilogue is that with the operator, you get the much more user-friendly software to pair with the dumping the cartridge. You can actually play the games with the operator software, or just you get a much nicer UI to do everything. Yeah. Whereas with the open source cartridge reader, you get this 1-inch OLED display that you need to navigate by pressing these teeny tiny buttons, and
it's just for dumping the cartridges.
And it's just
That's all it does.
for dumping the cartridge and the saves. I think you can also dump the saves.
Yeah, the saves too.
Yeah. But it's much more utilitarian from that perspective. But yeah, I use it with my iPad Pro because it's USB-C powered. So yeah, it saves all your games to a micro SD card. You just plug it into an adapter and off you go. Yeah, it's very nice.
Yeah, that you're right though. That is the benefit of Epilogue here. Yeah. That software is so clean and works so well. And if I had to guess what's taking so long with the Super Nintendo one, I would imagine getting that level of polish in your software side of this hardware release probably takes just as long as getting the hardware right.
Yeah, because the interfaces exist, because this other device that Federico and I have, all those parts and all that stuff can be purchased already. It's just a matter of packaging that together in a single device, which isn't just like a raw board like we have, which shouldn't, hardware is hard, but on the other hand, I think you're right. I think the software side of this is probably the harder bit.
I'm amazed, and I'm sorry in advance if this comes to pass, but also it seems like a logical thing if they're going to have a Game Boy one and a Super Nintendo one and an N64 one. I'm surprised they don't have some kind of subscription offering with cloud save support and stuff that allows you to pick up and play your stuff all over the place, that you're dumping legally.
I mean, yeah, that'd be nice. Isn't that sort of kind of what EmuDeck is doing now? You guys are familiar with EmuDeck, right? The software.
Yeah. Yes.
So what they're doing now, if you sign up, I believe if you sign up for their Patreon, EmuDeck, which is this front end for installing emulators on the Steam Deck, but just in general, even on Windows now, there's a version. It's
on Android now too.
It's on Android. It's on Mac. So what they do is, if you sign up, if you pay the subscription, it's very similar to what Brendon said. It's gonna sync all of your stuff and your progress across platforms. So it's like all these emulators kind of they all have your data in the cloud, and it's available on every device, which is a very compelling idea. But obviously with EmuDeck, from a legality perspective, it's a little iffy because sure, these are my ROMs. Whereas a company like Epilogue could say, well, you're dumping your games, we sell you the hardware, and then we also sell you the subscription service. I mean, I think it would be a really cool idea. You should get in touch with them, Brendon.
Okay. If you work for EmuDeck and you're watching and or listening to this, hit me up.
He's
got a trip coming up.
A man of many ideas. He's got ideas all over the place.
I just checked. Their PC did not get funded on Indiegogo, it looks like.
Yeah, it really didn't go anywhere. I think part of the problem there, when I looked at it, it was a lot more concept than it was real.
We mentioned this, what was it, 2 episodes ago?
Something like that.
Yeah. Yeah, so I mean, I guess now they will continue focusing on the software, on the AmiDeck software,
Yeah.
so which is great. Switching gears a little, we've been keeping an eye on this thing for the past couple of months, the MCon controller. Brendon, this is all yours because I know this
I'm
is
so
your dream.
excited. Yeah. So the MCon controller was a thing that somebody posted on Reddit and I think also their YouTube channel simultaneously a couple months ago, and is essentially a case for the iPhone that flips out like the PSP Go, so you can flip the actual phone itself up, and what you're left with is a controller beneath that works apparently just via Bluetooth. And enables you to play games in emulators and has been tested extensively with Delta specifically. It just seems kind of like the dream in a lot of ways. It's also MagSafe, so you could just remove the controller part entirely if you want to and just be left with a case. I imagine for most people who get the MCon, they'll probably just keep them connected. Apparently, we're at the point where this thing is getting close to release. There's now pricing as of a new Reddit update that says it's going to be around $100, which I think is like not too bad of a price. You know, it's more expensive than a lot of controllers I think we've been buying recently and talking about on the show, but still, considering the utility of this and the design of this, that's not out of the realm of what I would pay for exactly this as somebody who's wanted a PSP Go like since it first came out, and has wanted something like this for my iPhone specifically. It seems like there will be a Retro Game Core video going over this at some point soon. There are already images of it, or images of that video, it looks like, on a Reddit post that came out today, at least this morning at the time of this recording. So we might be hearing about this soon. Dear viewer, you might know more about this than we do at the time of this recording. So looking forward to it. And if you're the creator of this and you're watching and or listening, hit me up.
Your inbox is gonna be full of emails after this.
I do want to try Brendon at MacStories.net, baby.
Yeah,
if you, I am really excited about this. This is, I think, the like gaming thing that is not a video game that I am the most looking forward to.
This
at
is
the
the
moment.
dream.
I'm
I mean, it's
so stoked about this.
it's a combination of the PSP Go, which I still love and still have.
Yeah.
It was for many years my Final Fantasy Tactics machine, just the PSP Go. But it's also like the Xperia Play, right? It was based on a similar concept, the old Xperia line of phones. I mean, it's so inspiring. I believe the creator of the MCon is a college kid. Like
I think so.
They just they created a company just for this. They're doing a Kickstarter. They hired a bunch of designers and like people to handle the financials of the company, and it's kind of inspiring. And I really hope that this thing works and that it's legit and that it's that the Bluetooth connection works well and everything. Finally, we're starting to see these kinds of accessories. Didn't we order a couple of weeks ago something from Bitmo Lab? But that wasn't Bluetooth, right? That was
no, that's
another
the
Delta
capacitive
controller
thing.
with the capacitive one.
It's the Game Baby,
It's
which
the
is
the
a
Game
Mac
Baby.
Stories sponsor this week,
the
Federico.
Game Baby. Well, I ordered one, I think it's nice that we're starting to see movement on this front in terms of like accessories specifically designed for Delta, which, let's face it, has been the story of the year. Delta on the iPhone.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah.
I'm getting in that mindset of it's the end of the year and we're gonna do our Mac Story Selects awards. And I mean Delta has to be part of the conversation, right?
It does, yeah.
Because it literally took over the world. So looking forward to the MCon. I want to mention something that I almost did, but didn't. Because I applied some judgment and tried to be an adult for now.
I know you have a hard time with this.
You have no idea the willpower that was necessary to not click the buy button. YouTuber Taki Udon, I've been following Taki for a while, created a mod kit for the Nintendo Switch Lite. So this is the Nintendo Switch that doesn't let you remove the Joy-Cons. They're fixed in place. A mod kit to bring an OLED display to the Nintendo Switch Lite, which has a standard LCD display. Now, there are multiple versions of this mod kit. Some basic ones that require soldering and more manual labor and operations, and slightly more expensive kits where everything is pre-assembled, and essentially all you need to do is open up the Switch Lite and swap out the display for a different display and bezels, and it's all pre-assembled. You have no idea. Yesterday, I was on Amazon Italy. I saw, well, I could get the Switch Lite Hyrule edition for like 200 euros. And then I could get a mod kit. I could get a mod kit and have a Hyrule themed Switch Lite with an OLED display. Now, I didn't do it because then I spent some time on Twitter and I saw that they're working on a version specifically for the Hyrule edition Switch Lite. Because otherwise, if you get it now, you will get a version that has the black bezels around the display.
Oh, they have a gold bezel. Unlike you, I have very little
Is it available?
willpower.
Because I saw that they were working on it.
Well, no, I went today actually and looked.
Okay, so it must be.
Have a whole.
Okay.
They have a whole bunch of different bezels listed, but none of them are available except for turquoise. Except for turquoise, which I think is what the Animal Crossing one probably.
Yep. So they're doing the gold one for the Hyrule edition.
Yeah.
And that's going to be a problem for me. When it's available, it's going to be a problem because... can you imagine?
Federico?
Yeah.
It's definitely going to be a problem
for me. Look at that thing.
Because I did buy the Hyrule edition.
Oh, my God.
You can see there at the back.
Oh,
it's got the...
so cool.
It's got everything on there. It's, look.
It's gold.
I did not need this. I'm very excited about the prospect of it being OLED, though. And
are you using it? Are you playing Zelda on it?
Not yet, actually, because I've been playing on my OLED Switch with the MOBA pad. But I wanted something. I did want something for the Switch that was more mobile, because the full Switch with the MOBA pad or whatever controllers I put on it, whatever Joy-Con I use, is kind of big. This is more portable. It's also nice, new, fresh hardware, and I feel like we're at the end of the life of the Switch. And while I do expect that we'll see some backwards compatibility, I keep thinking back to the 3DS and when the 3DS stopped, being available for sale, and the fact that I regretted not having bought some of those special edition 3DSs. And I thought, this thing is only going to become more valuable if I ever want to sell it down the line. I just like the look of it. And so I decided to do it kind of as a collector's item more than anything else, just like collecting controllers. And so it's, I like it. I haven't had a Lite before, so it's nice having something more compact and small like this.
I think it's worth mentioning, I have been interested in a Switch Lite since it was first announced, and the main reasons that I didn't go through with it are no HDMI out, so you can't dock
it's
it.
Only
obviously,
portable.
you can't plug it into a TV. And also, it has the same drift problems as the Joy-Con, but because they're fixed, you're pretty much out of luck
forever.
if they start drifting.
Yep.
The things that we didn't mention about this upgrade kit is that it enables HDMI out, which rocks. And also, I think one of the bundles you can get there's a bunch of different bundles that you can get. One of the bundles also includes Hall Effect sticks to replace.
Oh, I didn't see that. That's
to
great.
Replace the joysticks. So, in a way, you're building like the ultimate Nintendo Switch, where it's more portable, has the OLED display, won't have stick drift, and has HDMI out.
Oh my God. And you can make it gold, which is also important.
And you can make it gold. This is a thing that they also have complete shell swaps as well. Like if you wanted to make an atomic purple one or something, you could also do that.
That's pretty cool.
This is a thing I've been really like hovering over the buy button on for a while. I'm kind of waiting to see some reactions to it. Like I want it to start shipping to people, and I want to see other people do it and see how hard it is, and if all this stuff works and if there are any issues. But I'm deeply curious about this, and I will probably do the same if people react positively to this kit.
Oof, I'm so tempted, but I won't do it.
John, you're gonna have to give in. You'll give in eventually. We'll work on you.
Okay.
Then you can at least blame me and Brendon.
Okay, as always, but more you than Brendon. You are a bad.
I started it.
Bad.
Wait until I start texting you every day about this.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna text you the word light every day.
Speaking of other things that I briefly considered, but then more quickly realized, this is not for me. There is now an Android gaming tablet that has a Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 system on a chip inside. And it's made by the same company that makes the gaming phone I used to have. REDMAGIC have launched the Nova gaming tablet. Now this thing, it starts at $500, which is not too bad. It's a almost 11-inch tablet that has basically the top of the line Snapdragon system on a chip inside. It's got RGB, it's got active cooling, it's got all the fancy gimmicks that REDMAGIC is known for. I really liked the REDMAGIC hardware from the phone last year. The software experience was it's the kind of software that is, it's semi-localized. It comes with typos in English. You can tell that it's made by a company based in China that didn't really invest a lot of resources into localizing for different markets, but the hardware was excellent. Now they're making a tablet, and I kind of wanted to ask you both. Do you think there's a space for an Android gaming tablet now that we have these dedicated handhelds? What's the ideal market fit for because a gaming phone, I sort of understand. You get a phone, and everybody needs a phone, right? That is portable and is also a pretty great console. But what is an Android gaming tablet doing in 2024? Well,
I truly don't know.
Yeah, that's the answer.
I really don't know.
That's the right answer. Because I was also thinking about it. What does it do? And
because you lose the handheld. I mean, you don't completely lose the handheld nature, but you're going to need a controller. So you're going to end up using it propped up on a table probably. And I don't know. That doesn't seem like the right experience right now.
Because conceptually, I'm in love with the idea of a big, beautiful screen for Android emulators, right?
Sure.
And the only thing I can think of is you want a tablet for relaxing in the afternoon or at night, and so you get to choose: do I want to read a book on this thing? Do I want to watch some movies, or do I want to play some games? That's basically the idea of it's a media consumption tablet, but instead of it being an iPad, it's an Android tablet. But the thing is, it's so clearly designed for gamers with the cooling and the fans and the RGB, and it's kind of thick, right? I don't know. I wish them the best because I really love the idea. I don't know who's going to buy this thing starting at $500 when you can get any Android-based device, an Odin 2 Mini, a Retroid,
for less than that.
Retroid. I honestly don't know, but it's still interesting. So yeah, it's out there.
How big is the jump from Gen 2 to Gen 3?
That is still
on the Snapdragon.
That is still something that is up for debate. Because we have reached the point where you're getting diminishing returns, right? With these systems on a chip, especially as graphic drivers, they get more and more optimized. I've seen people being able to do some pretty decent Switch emulation on a Snapdragon 8 Gen 1 and obviously the Gen 2, to the point where, as things stand now, the Gen 3 seems kind of unnecessary in terms of just raw performance because there's a cap, right? All the things you can emulate with these devices are up to PlayStation 2 and Nintendo Switch, because everything else just doesn't exist. PlayStation 3, Xbox 360, they don't exist on Android, those emulators. They barely exist on PC. They just don't exist on mobile. So all you can do is up to PS2 and Nintendo Switch. And if a Snapdragon 8 Gen 1 or 2 can handle that decently well, why would you get a Snapdragon 8 Gen 3? So for the idea of future-proofing, but future-proofing what exactly? Right?
Well, the 3 might be necessary for driving a bigger screen like this. That might be more necessary for a tablet than a mobile phone.
I kind of buy that argument. I kind of buy the argument more than I do on the phone. Yes. Yeah. That is an excellent point. So yeah, I guess if you're looking for a tablet that has the best possible version of Snapdragon you want to get, it's this one, the REDMAGIC Nova. Which, shout out to REDMAGIC for being a company based in China. They do have a warehouse in Poland, and they ship to Europe very quickly. I shall say.
Really?
Yeah. It's surprisingly well organized.
I think they have a warehouse in the U.S. too, because I ordered
nice.
an accessory from them one time.
Nice.
One of those weird USB-C accessories you
Nice.
talked me into. So you know.
I see a special edition Xbox controller in our notes, and I am willing to bet €5 that John put this link here.
I did put it in here, but only after I saw Brendon put it in.
No.
In
That is not an
Discord.
No, that is not an excuse. No. What's this?
Brendon
The
came
big question
across-
is, did you order it?
I did
Did you
not.
order
I
it?
did not
Oh,
actually. This is where my restraint has won the day. It's the Ghost Cipher Special Edition Series Xbox controller, and it's beautiful.
Oh my god! Oh my! It's currently unavailable. So.
Oh,
On Amazon.
really?
You can still pre-order it from the Microsoft Store.
Oh my
directly.
god!
Yeah.
You shouldn't have. Oh, this is so.
It's
pretty.
clear. It has gold
Oh.
metallic accents. It's silver parts underneath the clear shell.
Yeah. Oh,
It looks
man.
amazing. It looks
Let
amazing.
me take it a step further and make this even worse for everybody, because I looked at this. I looked at the blog post when they first announced this on the Microsoft blog, and I was like, wow, that looks really great. Unfortunately, I can't buy it because I would be downgrading from the Elite controller version 2 to something without back paddles.
Okay.
Right.
And I was like, I don't think I want to swap out. I don't want to swap out the ability to have back paddles. But later in that blog post, they also announced that if you go into the Xbox Design Lab, you can now design Elite controllers that are transparent, and they added the gold accents.
Why
to
did
the
you tell
choice
me
list.
this? Why did you tell
And
me this?
You can just build an Elite controller version of this also. And I sat there having one built out on my screen, just staring at it for like 20 actual real human minutes, being like, I can't do this, right? Like, I can't. I think I've talked about this on the show. I've at least talked about this on Into the Aether, but my Elite controller is like kind of broken.
Yeah.
Like the left bumper doesn't work. So I'm in the market for a new Xbox controller right now, and I'm just waiting to see if they announce like their mid-cycle upgrade to the Xbox with that leaked like Brooklyn controller or whatever it's called, that has a bunch of new haptics that kind of bring it up to the DualSense level. I'm like, I could use a broken Elite controller for a little longer if it means that I get like an actually upgraded Xbox controller eventually, but I don't know, man. Something about that, like, this thing just looks so cool,
looks
and
incredible.
getting
It's
an
the best
Elite
one I've
version of
seen.
it is like, I think I need to do it. I think I have to do it.
I have the blue transparent one that I got a couple
Yeah.
of months ago, and it's fantastic, but this just blows that one out of the water.
It looks incredible.
Yeah. I have the like the official Starfield wrap that they made for my Xbox Series X, and having this controller would also add to the like NASA punk vibe of my
Oh, yeah.
Xbox in
Big
a major
time.
way. Man, I'm really thinking about it. Like literally every day since they first announced this, I've been thinking about it.
You gotta do it. I think you gotta do it. I'll be the devil on your shoulder.
Federico's
You almost
being
whispered
very
that into the microphone.
Do it.
yeah, no, he's being very quiet because he's over there clicking away designing his controller.
No,
right
no.
now.
I'm just staring. I'm just staring. I'm not a huge fan of the back pedals on the Elite. Like I just never get used to them. But I'm looking at the standard version. I mean, it's so. Speaking of colors that would go well on my desk, these are the colors.
Oh, yeah.
These are the
Yeah.
colors. Let me close this tab.
Available October 8th.
Nope. I'm closing the tab.
That's only 5 days from now.
You know who has the money to buy all the controllers they want?
Who?
The Balatro developer.
Oh, good. Perfect.
Balatro is now on iOS. It's available both as a paid upfront app and as part of Apple Arcade. And
Yes.
I believe they made $500,000 in 5 days. So
Yes.
$500,000 in 5 days.
Unreal.
With that kind of money, how many Elite controllers can you design?
A few.
A few. I mean,
Did you both get Balatro on your phone?
nope,
Yes.
not yet because I'm scared. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes, I am.
John, did you go Apple Arcade or did you get it through the App Store version?
I went arcade, although I am thinking about just doing the paid upfront version too, just because eventually this thing will disappear from arcade, I suspect.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Everything
that was my
disappears.
fear. Yeah.
How
I
is it?
also went with the App Store version.
How is it on the iPhone screen? I just want to know.
It's the dream, man. It's the
Yeah.
dream. It's like I played a lot of it on Switch when it first came out, like a lot of it. I am already at the point on the iOS version where I have unlocked, for those of you who played Balatro, you'll know what I'm talking about, but I've unlocked all the decks, and I've beaten one deck on every difficulty except the top one.
Oh, wow.
So I've played a lot of this. It has become like the commute game for me, which was kind of my dream when they first announced this was happening. My only thing, Local Thunk, if you're watching and or listening to this, don't hit me up. I'll tell you what I would email you.
Just asking for more emails.
I just want it to be in portrait mode. Like, there are so many people
Oh,
out
it's
there.
not portrait?
No,
No.
it's landscape, and it's killing me. There are so many people out there who have mocked up designs for how to make Balatro work in portrait mode, and the fact that this doesn't have the ability to rotate, man, it's driving me up a wall. It's still playable, it's still great, but if I am not sitting down on the subway, if I'm standing, I feel so weird holding my phone landscape enough so that I just don't do it.
I've only played it a little bit, and I was wondering, Brendon, if the touch targets are okay for you. I know that they've done some updates to try to address some of the issues, because I guess some of the touch targets were very tiny, although I guess you could use a controller too, which is how I was playing it when I've been trying it out so far.
Yeah, it was wild opening up. Speaking of controllers, it was wild opening up my Apple TV, like turning my TV on and seeing a huge ad for Balatro. It was like, play with a controller on the Apple TV. That was very cool. Yeah, I haven't had any issues with the touch targets at all. I think they've made a couple really smart decisions in terms of how you buy and sell and upgrade things. So instead of like, if you have, this is a little in the weeds, but you have like a tarot card that upgrades one of the cards in your hand or something, you would normally click on the cards in your hand that you want to upgrade and then click on the tarot card and then that would use it. But now you kind of like drag all the cards around the screen to these different like blocks on the screen that say like sell or use or like buy and use, which I think once I locked into that has made it a very, very seamless and smooth experience on a touchscreen. I'm not super surprised that it works that well because I was also using the touchscreen a lot on the Nintendo Switch version, which launched with touchscreen support. So to me, I was like, you could just launch this as is on iOS and Android, and it would be fine. But the fact that they went the extra mile and made sure to kind of add some even more mobile phone specific controls, I think was a really smart decision. It's great. It is great on mobile. I love it so much. And it is really, speaking of end of the year discussions, I'm like really, really in getting ready for Game of the Year mode for Aether right now.
Yeah.
Even though there are like 10 games that are about to come out that are probably going to usurp all the ones on my list. But I've been meaning to go and revisit Balatro again in a major way and could not be timed better for Game of the Year discussions and deliberations.
That's going to be a fun one. Balatro, Dragon's Dogma 2, Metaphor, Echoes of
Indiana
Wisdom.
Jones.
It's gonna
Indiana
be
Jones is
this is
still
gonna
coming.
be a fun one. Well, okay. I guess I'll check it out. I'll get the paid version because I don't trust Apple Arcade.
Same, yeah.
I have a mini topic for you guys this week, but before we get to that, I need to contextualize the topic a little bit. So we started seeing the first leaks of the potential successors to the Legion Go. We've seen specifically two things. On the Lenovo website, we've seen a mention of Lenovo Legion Go Gen 2. So that suggests that Lenovo is gearing up for a second revision to the Legion Go, which, as we have speculated before, may be announced at CES alongside the Z2 Extreme, which we also mentioned before on the show as the next upgrade for all of these PC-based handhelds. There's also a Legion Go Lite, which is interesting because if the leak is accurate, it's basically showing Lenovo taking literally the same approach as Nintendo with the Nintendo Switch Lite. The Legion Go Lite would be a smaller, cheaper version of the Legion Go that does not have detachable controllers. They will be fixed in place. It'll be smaller. It'll be cheaper. And arguably, it kind of also defeats it removes one of the differentiating factors of the Legion Go, which is you can detach the controllers, just like a Nintendo Switch. But I guess if you really like Lenovo and if you like Lenovo software, there's going to be a Legion Go Lite, which will be interesting. I wouldn't be surprised if Lenovo does the following. CES, Legion Go 2 announced, Legion Go 1 removed from sale, replaced with the Legion Go Lite. So you can either go Legion Go Lite or Legion Go 2. That would be my guess. In any case, I saw these rumors, and obviously I love my Legion Go, but I figured, before I need to say goodbye to the Legion Go. I kind of want to try and give it a proper send off, and I want to build the ultimate Legion Go. So like I wanna end this journey with the Legion Go on a high note. Just like I built the ultimate eGPU, I figured let me build the ultimate Legion Go. So once again, as we told this story on episode 2 of NPC, but once again, I sent a message to my friend in Las Vegas, friend of the show, Reddit user from Las Vegas. Sent a message because I saw that person had showcased their mod for the Legion Go. And I got in touch with them and I asked, hey, do you happen to also have another unit for this mod available? And they were like, sure, because I now sell them to other people. So they set up a little shop. Yeah, it's a little operation they set up. So the idea was, I want to dual boot the Legion Go. I want to have Windows and Bazzite on the Legion Go, just like I did with the Ally X. I want to do the same on the Legion Go. But the Legion Go is harder to set up than the Ally X because it's using a non-standard, or I guess non-popular SSD type. The Legion Go by default comes with a 2242 type of SSD, which is not as easy to find as the 2230, I believe, that is in the Ally X. But I saw that my friend from Las Vegas had done something very unique, which is they swapped the entire backplate of the Legion Go for a custom 3D printed one that kept the kickstand, but also had a little cage outside for an external 2280 SSD. So it's like there's the Legion Go, but then there's a little cage outside where you put the 2280, for context, is the same SSD, the rectangular one, that you can slot into a PS5, for example, right?
Okay.
It's that type of rectangular shaped SSD. The idea being, you order from AliExpress a ribbon cable, an adapter, that you attach to the original spot of the Legion Go's internal SSD, and this cable wraps around the backplate, reaches into the external cage, and allows you to use a 2280 4 terabyte SSD with your Legion Go. And I mean, you know me, I couldn't resist. So I did it. And so here's the ultimate Legion Go. I'm going to try and show it off to the camera. This is the little cage, okay?
Oh, yeah. That's not so bad. I was expecting it to look way worse.
No. It looks.
I thought it would stick out a lot farther.
No. It looks very professional. So what's cool about this? So this is the 3D printed backplate. It's got all this, for ventilation. This is the cage for the. I'm gonna try and show it off. It doesn't stick out too much. This is the cage. You put the SSD in here. It's got a kickstand. And fun fact, here's the kickstand. Fun fact, it's using the same hinges as the original Legion Go. Or when the person from Reddit sends you the instruction, you are told that you gotta remove the original hinges from the Legion Go's official backplate. So it's still using the original mechanism of the Legion Go. This one.
Okay.
The SSD is in here. I got a version. I got the Samsung 990 Pro 4 terabyte with a built-in heatsink. And the little cage here is big enough to fit the version with the heatsink.
How hot does that get? Does it get hot?
Not really.
Okay.
Not really. That I would argue that ventilation is even better because this custom backplate has way more holes than before.
Yeah,
Right.
it looks like it would be.
Yeah, so ventilation is actually better. And obviously, as you can imagine, I did the thing where I cloned my previous SSD. I partitioned the drive. And so now I have 2 terabytes for Windows and 2 terabytes for Bazzite. And here, let me show you. I got, obviously, Bazzite going. And here it is on the beautiful Legion Go. There's, you can see UFO 50. Fantasy 8, which I'm gonna play eventually. It's been it's been 25 years, and yeah, I'm using Bazzite on the Legion Go, and it's just SteamOS, right?
How do you dual boot? Is it similar to the way you did with the Ally X?
Same concept. So when you shut down the console, when you boot it up, you have a boot order. I set it to boot into Bazzite by default. But if you hold down the volume minus, I think, button when you're starting off the console, you got a little menu at the BIOS that tells you, hey, do you want to boot into Bazzite or do you want to boot into Windows? And so I love the Ally X and I love the Legion Go for different reasons. The Ally X continues to be the more portable option. The Legion Go with its display, giant display, is incredible. Like, I've played so much Dragon Quest XI on the Legion Go this year. It's kind of ridiculous because it looks so nice on this big, beautiful display. And just having this is like, for me, the ultimate handheld right now. These are my comfort grips, by the way. I got some comfort grips from Etsy, if you can see them here, which improve. I mean, the controllers are already quite comfortable, but with this, they're like super comfortable for my hands. But to me right now, this is the ultimate version of the Legion Go, right? It was already big and bulky. And so I'm kind of embracing that side. I added a 4 terabyte SSD. I got 2 operating systems on this thing. It's not lightweight. It's not like, let me tell you, like.
That's why you have a pillow though, right?
That's why I have a pillow. The Mechanist pillow shipped, by the way. I'm waiting for delivery. So fingers crossed. Maybe by the next episode, I will have it. But that's what I did. So right now, I have both the Ally X and the Legion Go with the same system, dual booting, Windows and Bazzite. And this is how I am going into CES 2025, where I'm convinced we are going to see more handhelds that ship either with default dual boot or as a version of SteamOS installed by default. But this is what I'm bringing into the new year. The Ally X and the Legion Go, both dual booting Windows and Bazzite. And the Legion Go, especially with this thing in the back, is wild. It's so heavy, it's kind of ridiculous, which is why I'm going to try and figure out where to put the attachment for the pillow. Probably here. Yeah. I'll keep, and you can see the SSD flashing. There's the light for the SSD over here.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah.
You gotta get some RGB in there, Federico.
No. You know me. I don't do RGB. But yeah, that's my ultimate Legion Go. And of course, the ultimate eGPU is still in the living room. As we've established, the cable is long enough to reach my bedroom. And so yeah, I have all the options I want at my disposal, and it's nice. It's nice. What can I tell you?
And CES will throw it all into a mess, probably.
Yeah.
The thing is, these consoles are so heavily modded now, especially the Legion Go. They are probably unsellable online, and so I'll have to try and figure something out. Maybe we'll do like a contest for our listeners, because I wouldn't want to keep it, just in a drawer eventually. Because I know that I'm going to get a Legion Go too. So we'll see. But I cannot sell these because they're so modded. I cannot return these, obviously. I'll do something with them. We'll see. But yeah, we'll see in January.
All right. Sounds good. Got anything else, Tichi?
I think we did it.
I think we did. All right, everybody. Well, that's it for this week. You can find Brendon over at wavelengths.online and Into the Aether. He's Brendon Bigley in most places on social media too. And Federico and I are over at macstories.net on App Stories and a bunch of other podcasts.
And that's it.
What's wrong?
And that's it, I guess. I lost my train of thought just like you, Brendon. All right.
Thanks for
See you later,
listening,
everybody. Bye.
Yeah, bye.